Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. Today we are trying something crazy, absolutely crazy. We are uses quite a bit more electricity. We're ready to launch a new version of our high-flying rocket, which has been named Rescue 1, and its purpose is to go and rescue our good friends that have been orbiting Minmus for these last 7 days. Now, in order to do this, we need to have Kerbin rotate so that funny. We need to have Kerbin rotate so that this path is over the KSC. And once that has happened, we will launch. We will drop our craft down at an angle to match, much like we were doing on Minmus, and we will then worry about rendezvous. This craft is very light. It is loaded with RCS fuel, a couple of thrusters for maneuvering once we get up there. I mean, this thing should have no problem getting there. And maneuvering close when we get there. Once we're close, we'll pull up alongside the disabled craft, or not quite disabled, the under-designed craft. We will have our scientist gather what experiments he can, climb into the can, deburn, land on Kerbin. There will be much rejoicing, and then we will have our main crew also deburn in their vehicle. So that said, we're going to speed up time here until we are underneath this glide path. Sadly, this is going to greatly increase the amount of time that those poor boys have been up there. But they knew the risks. Oh, I'm being told that they did not know the risks. They were promised that everything would be fine. That said, let's get this underway. Looks like we're going to want to pitch down at roughly 40 degrees. Solid fuel boosters have been launched. Whoa. Oh, that is the wrong direction there, guys. Closer to 180. That terrifying noise you hear that haunts your dreams. Okay, that's going to put us off slightly. But it doesn't look too shabby. Apoapsis of about 100. Now we are ahead of the other craft, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to burn to an apoapsis above theirs. We have tons of fuel, they do not. Do what we can to get back into their glide path. See here, we're kind of close. Last booster stage about to burn out. Looks pretty spot on in terms of angle now. Now all we have to do is get into an orbit. Don't forget, this is a craft that is originally designed to land on the moon, so in terms of fuel we should have more than enough to manage this. '88. That looks pretty good. And then at our periapsis here, we'll set up the burn to elongate our apoapsis in order to get into position. I am slightly worried that this is going to give us one more piece of debris floating around Kerbin, but I mean, honestly, one piece of debris for all of this science, that's worth it. Well, and then we have the two extra fuel tanks that we jettisoned on the way home, but nobody's counting those. Go ahead and open the gas all the way. Full throttle. Looks good to me. Okay. 10-kilometer distance. 30-kilometer distance. 10 was a lot nicer. 21. 6. 5. 4. 1.9. 2.4. 1.9 it is. So, 17 minutes. We'll get ready for that burn. Ooh, let us go ahead before we forget and extend our solar panel. Just one. Okay. Well, because this is an unmanned craft, running out of electricity would be even worse than it would be otherwise. We gotta do a 180-degree flip. Doesn't really matter which direction we choose to go, so long as we go it for 180 degrees. Now, I struggled with whether or not I wanted to put on any form of docking module so that we could transfer fuel over to our other craft, but I decided that that would not be necessary. And I also contemplated putting science modules on this craft, but I opted against it, that this craft was going to be purpose rebuilt in order to rescue our friends. Until the burn. Don't want to blow by it. Miss our chance. Two kilometers, not as good as originally intended, but I mean, come on. It's close enough. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I still have my main stage attached, which means maneuverability is not going to be my craft's strong suit here. But we don't have to dock, remember, we just need to be close. Close and traveling at a relative speed. That's not too distant so that we can leap from one craft to the other. No coming up here in 6 minutes. Our closest approach. Uh, 2.5 minutes. We're going to have to go ahead and spin ourselves around again. Come on now. craft is lumbering. To say that is actually to downplay the amount of lumbering that it does in fact have. Lumberingness, lumberingosity, lumberishness. There we go. 2 targets come to their closest point in a minute and 20 seconds. "30 seconds. Bring ourselves around to face our target. So this would be an instance when we have too much fuel with us. I should have set it up so that this giant booster was going to crash into the planet before setting up these maneuvers, but I didn't. So here we are, doing this interesting ballet. Moving pretty much squarely towards our target now. Heading towards him at about 10 meters per second, which is 540 seconds until we are right on top of each other. Again, at no point do we need to touch. We just need to be close enough that a brave Kerbal can jump from one craft to the next. Here we go. This will hopefully be the last one of these I have to do. Some more acrobatics. Oh, no, we're falling away now. $660. Six meters per second. Spin ourselves around. This is oddly reminiscent of my first rendezvous attempt. Not having a craft that's actually set up for this is silly, and it is really just my desire to not have all sorts of excess debris that is preventing me from just doing it the right way. That said, let's go ahead and switch over to this craft now. We don't have a ton for resources, but we are far more maneuverable. We're a little bit too heavy as well for monopropellant, because we weren't set up for this either, but we'll be close enough here in a second to do what we got to do. Here we go. Excellent. Looked like we were drifting towards him a little there. Crew hatch. Durzor, out you go. Alright, first thing you're going to do, you're going to take your 14 experiments. You're going to let go. Durzor, you've been in space for several days now. I think about 9. 8 for sure. We're going to go ahead. You're going to get in. I don't know why my experiments cannot be stored on this Mark I lander can. Um, that's very peculiar to me, and it means that we're going to have to change the mission profile again. Whoop, whoop. Oh. It's just one experiment somehow? Somehow I'm gonna hope I had duplicates and not that I somehow lost all of those experiments, because that would be horrific if I let this man out of his lab and the first thing he does is go losing experiments. Okay, so he's got 13 on there. We're going to make sure that he is in a somewhat stable orbit. He is. We are going to switch over now. Finally, bring these guys home. There's going to be no fuss, no muss, just good old-fashioned come home. Apparently it's only been 7 days and 10 hours. Only, right? Just 7.5 days. Speed things up here. In the atmosphere now. Bill, Bob, Jebediah, all three excited. Let's go ahead and get ourselves into a position that's a little more dignified. Coming in for a nighttime splashdown. Sounds good. 30 kilometers up. Hit the atmosphere. Looks like we've got some shores there. Not that I'm afraid of the shores, but how awful would anything going wrong now be? We're going to bleed off as much speed as we can. We're going to jettison our service module now that it's empty. Our mobile processing lab, that is. We'll decouple. We'll send out our parachute. Coming up on splashdown. Cue the triumphant music. Here we go. 300 meters left. Bill, very happy to be touching down somewhere where he can breathe. It just occurred to me we're not capturing the Minmus lander, so we won't be getting the points for returning a vessel that has been on the surface of Minmus. That's okay though. We'll get ready here. Hopefully lots and lots of science. Oh, I didn't check. We've been doing things, so I don't think the mission profile would be normal. 4,436.8 science. 69 experiments. I will not read all of these aloud because I can't listen to my voice for that long, but I am going to slowly scroll through. Recovery of a vessel returned from a suborbital flight on Minmus. That's rough. orbited it for so long. But that's okay. 4,436.8. So we'll be done with that. We'll go back to our space center because we're not done yet. We still need to bring... It's a lot of flights still in progress, along with 30 pieces of debris. It's a little sad that we have that much trash floating around. Alright, let's go ahead and do our deorbit burn here. This craft, of course, having way more fuel in it. Enough fuel that if I had landing gear I could easily do a powered descent. I mean, now that I'm getting so good at them. Go ahead, fast forward here. "98 minutes into the rescue mission. Darzer, happy, ecstatic even, to be going home, not having to look at those panels or watch Jebediah knock over test tubes and ask, hey, what's that thingy? Very excited about that. Also knowing that he's not going to be stranded in space forever. It's amazing what that'll do to a man's morale. Let's go ahead and put our solar panels away. Put our one solar panel away. Are dancing. Experienced a few G's during that maneuver. Happy G's. Entirely sure what kind of surface I'm landing on. Looks like I'm over the water. Definitely over the water. Durzor. Chutes open. Plenty of electricity. Rescue attempt has gone well. We will recover him shortly. Not expecting anywhere near the amount of science we just got, but you know, 40 would be nice. 84. So we got a lot of duplicate experiments, 14 of them. So that's 4,521 science. And, nope. Astounding. Way more than I was anticipating. Blew our old record out of the water in terms of the amount of science generated. We'll go ahead and just grab even the stuff I don't care about here. Rover wheels, less important. That's one I definitely want. Large probes, advanced unmanned tech, aerodynamics, oversized nose cones, I like those. Struts, metamaterials for building a space station. So we'll go ahead and just grab them for the sake of grabbing them. Ooh. Mech Jeb. So that's where that's hiding. Available at 1,000. Good to know. So 1,550 science. More. We'll finish out this tech tree. Things that we know are things that we know that we need to go to. Science, material-based study on all of Minmus. We have the poles that we could still land on Minmus if we sent out another craft there with fuel to just refuel the lander that we have. That'd be worth a couple hundred. We know that along the moon we have several landing sites we haven't been to yet. We haven't been to the Highland craters, the Midland craters, the Highlands, polar craters, polar lowlands, the poles. So lots of opportunities there. We haven't done anything on any body outside of our neighborhood, really, and we haven't conducted all of the experiments on Kerbin yet. We still have a large number of experiments left to run in the mountains. We have a fair number to run on the ice caps. We have a couple to run in every biome except for the Highlands. We have low flying reports to grab in a few places. We have gravioli reports to grab in a lot of places. So still plenty to be done, but that was an exciting mission. I hope that it was at least somewhat enjoyable, something different. I know a little repetitive as we keep going to the same sites, But that said, I think everything went very well with that, even with the rescue mission. And it's good to have our boys back home. That spacecraft proved to be just so much better than I had engineered it to be. I was expecting to do that over 2 missions to hit. I was planning on one more site than we actually hit, but we had already been to the slope, so it wasn't necessary. And but we were able to manage our fuel. We were able to manage our landing points. We got lucky that the orbit that we ended up in, even though it was kind of an accident, managed to reach biomes across the entire Minmus surface, and just really excited with the way that went. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.